Red Wings Live is presented by Arby's. Try Arby's 2 for $5 mix and match deal today. It's unfortunate the Red Wings had to move to the East for the NHL schedule makers to get it right. I guess we can forgive their ignorance now as they try and make up for lost seasons when original 6 teams should have been mandated to meet at least once in each other's building. Tonight, after a thrilling home set win over Toronto, the Wings are in Montreal to battle the division-leading Habs alongside Darren Elliott, Chris Osgood. I'm Matt Shepard, and I'll admit it, I'm a little partial to original 6, but I thought what happened Friday and Saturday night was magic.
It was, first of all, because everybody's engaged. The players like it, the fans like it. And the difference is now you're not just playing original 6 teams, you're competing against them because you're in the same division, in the same conference.
I think all you heard from the players mention after that game was the atmosphere in the Joe. It was playoff-like. They loved the game. The games both in Toronto and at home at the Joe, obviously great. Now they're going to play Montreal team tonight, both battling in the standings. Montreal, a very good team. Detroit, wanting to be a very good team in the division, both battling for that first position. That's what makes a rival.
So as fans, we sit there and we go, wow, original 6, Wings and Habs. For sure this is going to be exciting, but it's more than that, right? It's more than just the fact that these two are original 6 franchises.
Well, sure is now, because you're in the same division. These guys will be battling each other all year. The Habs had a very, very good team last year. They do, again, they've even added to it this year. They got a very deep team, a quick team. They're back, like Darren says, the Flying Frenchman. They're back to that style. The Red Wings, too, have a very good team this year. Some people say they don't, but I believe they're going to be right in the mix with Montreal to win that division in the end of the year, and that's what makes a rival, and it makes that much bigger.
And it should be such a fast game, really competitive. Both teams like to skate, move the puck. Should be a great matchup here tonight.
Last 10 years, these two teams have only met, though, 8 times, so you have to wonder why the league hasn't gotten it right, or maybe they have by now gotten it right. Now, as fun as the 3-1-1 start is, the power play for Detroit has not been good. It might get a shot in the arm tonight. John Keating has more for the Bell Center. Keating?
Well, Matt, we know this like we know few other things. Pavel Datsyuk is a difference maker, but how much of a difference might he make tonight? Not even Mike Babcock is sure as what he'll get from Datsyuk in his first game back. He'll play some wing along with Zetterberg and Abdelkader up front for the Red Wings. Even Pavel is anxious to see what he's got in his first game back tonight.
Oh, it feels awesome. Make it full practice with team and do what you can do.
How good do you feel? At what level do you feel you are right now?
I needed to feel in the game and the practice different level, and we see tonight, and I can more explain you after game how it's a feeling.
There's another great comeback story at work, although it's a little bit of a lesser one. The great story early on has been the play of Jimmy Howard, who was able to turn the page from a season last year that really didn't go his way. He's been great, and then there was that game in Toronto last Friday night, after which he had a tight groin, and collectively everybody said, uh-oh, he ended up on this new goalie's 48-hour IR. But even Jimmy said afterward there was more worry than was needed.
It never was a scare, to be honest with you. It was more of just being precautionary. I wasn't scheduled to play that game anyway, so we just wanted to be smart about it. And, you know, there was no sense of, you know, if I need be to come off the bench cold.
But it was a little tight, right? Would that be fair?
It was a little bit sore, so it was, you know, it was one of those things out on the ice where the ice just let go underneath my foot, but, you know, it bounced back good.
Howard with a goals against average of .7 against Mike Babcock's Olympic gold medal winning goalie Carey Price. Just one of the great matchups in Detroit's first trip back this season to the Bell Center. Shep?
All right, looking forward to that for sure, Keats. Thanks. We'll hear from you a little bit later on in the pregame show. All right, now we know Pavel Datsyuk. We're 5 games into this season, fellas, so we've got a ton of time to go. But Pavel Datsyuk, I would guess, is a little bit behind. How far behind is he?
I think he's a little bit further behind than you might think originally because he missed most of training camp. But he's Pavel Datsyuk, so he knows how to impact the game in certain situations. That's what I'm looking for, how he's able to impact, especially on the zone entries on the power play.
Yeah, he's such a great player. I don't think he's going to be that far behind, actually. The only thing that might happen, he might lose his legs a bit late in this game, depending on how much he plays, and that's what Mike Babcock sees is going to dictate how much Pavel Datsyuk plays tonight. But I don't foresee the hands being any different than they usually are, and that's outstanding. And his moves are up. This guy, when he's in the lineup, makes everybody else better around him. Abdelkader is going to be on his line tonight. He's already been great. Look for a big, big night from that line, the top line for the Red Wings tonight. When Pavel comes back, he usually has a very, very good game.
All right, where will we notice the most rust, and where will we notice his difference-making ability?
Well, I think you're going to see the most rust, like I said, in his legs. I mean, he's been skating. He had the shoulder injury, which is actually a blessing in disguise. Anything on a foot or a knee, you can't skate at all. So he could keep himself in fairly good shape while he was injured. He's still going to have the hands, though. I think, if anything, just because he's going to get leaned on the physicality of the game, they're going to hit him every time. They're going to try and wear him down. So maybe late in the game, you might see a little bit of fatigue.
And I would say defensively, he's always so good. He leads the league every year in takeaways. I don't know if that's going to be up to snuff so far right off the bat, because that's the part that really takes effort and energy. But I will look for him where he has open ice to make good decisions and good plays.
Is it a pick-me-up for the rest of this team? Can guys feed off a superstar coming back like this?
They can, but sometimes you can get trapped in watching and say, oh, it's all going to be better now. Our power play is going to be solved, and that's not the right approach at all.
Yeah, when they're moving up as a five-man unit in the power play, therefore guys can't be watching Pavel come up with a puck and not doing anything, not getting open. Pavel Datsyuk will get that puck in the zone for him. He is Nick Lindstrom-related and like at entering the zone. So that's where you're going to really see the difference in Pavel Datsyuk back in line, is on that power play tonight.
Datsyuk plays Montreal for the 12th time in his career. He's got 7 goals and 9 points so far against the Habs. All right, will Datsyuk be the player of the game? Presented by McDonald's new triple cheeseburger for only $2. Tune in after the game to Red Wings Live postgame to see which player takes home the honors. Up next, the Canadiens are off to the hottest start in the Eastern Conference. We'll take a closer look at what challenges the Wings will be facing tonight when we return to Red Wings Live right after this. Montreal is off to its best start in 6 years, but they have some mild concerns in net with Carey Price. Despite a 4-1 record, he owns an .890 save percentage and a 3.38 goals against average. He has 4-3-1 in his career against Detroit, and both those statistics, goals against and the save percentage, very, very respectable. I know these guys always look at save percentage more so than goals against. There is always a buzz about the Canadiens in Montreal, especially this season. They have picked up where they left off after reaching the Eastern Conference Finals a year ago. They've had some issues, though, giving up as many goals as they've scored, 20. For more on their early success, here's John Keating.
The Canadiens are 5-1, Shep. The last time they were 6-1 at this point of a season, disco was cool. And crushed velvet. It was 1976. The Canadiens went on to win the Stanley Cup. Right now, they're first in the Atlantic Division, 3 points better than Detroit. Very impressed with the team they'll see on the ice here in Montreal tonight.
Be hard on you, and then the goaltending is really good. They've scored a ton of goals at this point, and so obviously we can't let them do the same.
I think they have a really strong team. They're really fast team. Good power play, so we got to stay out of the box. You know, I think we every time we come here, first 10 minutes are really important. You got to be sharp, otherwise you can be down a few goals.
Somewhat surprisingly, Montreal went to the Eastern Conference Finals last year, and yet it's a team in transition. 3 prominent veterans were cast off, and right now, this is a team that doesn't have a captain, and that will remain so until someone says the words said in the movies to Tom Hanks, "I'm your captain now." Yep.
You're always wearing the C for us. Don't kid yourself. Thanks, Keith. All right, we mentioned it before, fellas. Briefly, Carey Price having some struggles. Is he vulnerable? And if so, how do you beat a guy like this?
Well, this guy has nerves of steel. He's been in every pressure situation. He plays in one of the toughest places to play in the National Hockey League, and that is Montreal. Played in the Olympics. There's not more pressure than that when the whole country has their eyes on you. Trust me, those stats aren't going to bother him for 1 second. All he cares about is winning games, and this guy's a big-time goalie. He makes him look easy at times, and he's capable of shutting the door completely on any given night against anybody.
Outstanding lateral movement. The thing about it is he's faced a lot of shots. They're giving up over 32 shots per game. That's too many. In terms of the stats, they're not going to stay there very long. He had the 7-1 loss. Early sample size skews the numbers. This guy is one of the top 5 goalies in the National Hockey League.
All right, you said 32 shots. How many shots is ideal? And let's be realistic. How many shots can you expect, and would you expect a goalie like Carey Price with the D in front of him to face?
Well, you want it to be under 28. Right now, the Red Wings doing a really good job, 27.2. So they're giving up 5 shots per game less than the Montreal Canadiens. That's a testament to how well they've played defensively early in the season. So from that standpoint, you're trying to limit the chances. So what's going on right now in Montreal, they're really busy 5-on-5. 15-14, twice as busy as the Red Wings, 8-7. So you want to make sure that you dictate 5-on-5.
I think they're in a little bit of a transition of changing their identity where they want to score more goals. Before they couldn't. They found themselves snake bit probably more times than would like. Now they have the goalie in Carey Price. Why not go out and try and score some goals? And that's what they're doing. And if they get up 4, they're going to score 5. They kind of have that old, like we mentioned earlier, the flying Frenchman mentality where they're going to go out, pressure you, try and score. D are going to pinch. You're going to see Subban up ice all day long. The Red Wings got to know where he is all the time tonight.
Yeah, he had a couple of goals the other night, and they were beauties, too. I mean, this is a guy who brings a different element that we've seen, at least from a Montreal defenseman lately.
He competes.
Yeah.
I mean, there's lots to like, and there's lots to really get under your skin when you're talking about PK Subban. But if you're a Montreal Canadiens fan, he really is your engine. To me, Ozzy, that makes them go. On the power play, he has just a lethal one-time slap shot, and he can add lib with the best of them.
Yeah, and this is a guy that frustrates a lot of players in the opposition, but not only because his play, but he loves to talk a lot, but now he's backing it up with plays like this. What a patient play. This guy all of a sudden has become very intelligent on the ice. Before, if anything, you would have said, you know what, he makes dumb decisions, doesn't make smart plays at times. Now he seems to have limited those, and he's added to his games offensively. A very, very dangerous player out there for Montreal.
That's Selly, though. That's what gets under opponent's skin.
Yeah.
But if you look at how this series went last year, when the Wings won, they gave up a goal a game, just 1 goal in each game, and they gave up 5 in the 2 losses. So whoever can dictate 5-on-5 will win this hockey game.
Well, Jimmy Howard and the Wings will see a lot of Subban. He's second on the Habs in minutes played. Of course, he's also leading the team in penalties as well. It's only October, just 5 games into the season, but the Red Wings have already given their fans a taste of playoff hockey. For Keith Gave's report on that and more Red Wings coverage, we invite you to go to foxsportsdetroit.com. Stay right there. Up next, we'll take a closer look at Henrik Zetterberg's game-winning overtime goal against Toronto Saturday night. Why the setup was just as pretty as the goal itself. Class is in session. That's next. Red Wings Live is brought to you by your local Toyota dealers. Visit buyatoyota.com. Toyota, let's go places. Pavel Datsyuk and the Red Wings ready to go in Montreal. It's coming up here on Fox Sports Detroit, hoping to carry over the momentum they built in the back-to-back home-and-home series against Toronto. We take a closer look at Henrik Zetterberg's overtime goal from Saturday night. It's courtesy of Fox Vision. Fellas, what did you see on this play specifically that allowed Detroit to pick up that win?
It is a hockey play. There's so many good things happened, and this is what hockey's all about. You take a look at the face-off win. Little tap back. Now watch Henrik Zetterberg gets his feet moving. Kronwall immediately gets his feet going. Now this pass, Eriksson to Kronwall, sets the whole thing up. This is trying to win a hockey game right here.
I want you to still the speed by Kronwall's making this play. He pushes back the Toronto defense. Now they can't stand up and make a play on Kronwall there. He has time. Now Zetterberg doesn't streak down the right side. He kind of puts on the brakes a bit and gains that gap between the Toronto defenseman Franz and himself to let himself be open. The pass comes across, boom, game winner.
Details. That's what stands out to me. Even the line change. Glenn Denning's out there because they had to have 2 centermen because it was a defensive zone faceoff. He changes. Nyquist comes in and supports. That really led to that overload on that side where Kronwall carried the puck in.
All right, a few keys, though. It starts with a faceoff win for certain, but Henrik Zetterberg was tapping his stick at the blue line, and Phil Kessel is out to lunch.
Well, I think we talk about what younger players can learn, how we have younger players in the Red Wings this year. Well, that's the exact clip that younger guys can be watching. These guys use speed when they have to. They back off when they had to. They created space between themselves and every Toronto defender, which caused the goal. It was so many little things that these veteran players did right, which enabled that goal to go in and eventually win the game. That was unnoticeable to the eye until you look at it like that. And just a great, great play all around, but winning draws, moving the feet, backing off by Zetterberg to create that space, then the nice pass.
Support, and then on the other side, you had Phil Kessel, as you mentioned, Shep. He just settled that, okay, Nyquist comes off the bench. I've got my guy. That wasn't enough. That created the lane, and then Zetterberg was able to make sure that he was in the right spot at the right time and ready to shoot it when the puck was delivered perfectly by Cronwall.
Yeah, I love how I watched Zetterberg back off their friends, and who had lost his gap because of speed by Cronwall. Zetterberg saw that. I'm not going to speed up and leave myself covered by friends.
Too close to him.
Backed off a bit, let that space be open, so he's allowed himself some room for that one-timer, and it was over.
Great teaching moment, fellas. We appreciate it. Zetterberg, by the way, now 7 goals and 15 points in 11 career games against the Leafs. He's never had a hat trick against Montreal, but if a Detroit player does score a hat trick tonight, bring in a copy of the scoring summary to Arby's tomorrow and get another free small order of curly fries. You can find the scoring summary in your newspaper or on the Red Wings page at foxsportsdetroit.com. Up next, we'll head back to Montreal for a pregame chat with the Red Wings' leading goal scorer, Gustav Nyquist. Talks of the Habs and road success after this. Red Wings Live is presented by ZotAuto.com, home of Chrysler, Jeep, Dodge, Ram, Ford, Toyota, and Scion. And by Flagstar Bank, a proud and official partner of the Detroit Red Wings. February 26th, the Red Wings were in Montreal. The game was tied at 1 in overtime when Gustav Nyquist decided to wear a crown, rifling a shot past Peter Budaj, and the Wings went home with a 2-1 victory. That was one of a team-best 28 goals for Nyquist last season, one of 6 game winners that he had. That ranked 15th in the NHL. He now visits with John Keating at the Bell Center in Montreal. Keats?
All right, Shep, thanks. You scored 4 goals in your first 4 games. You didn't score in your 5th. That means you're officially due, I would think, right?
Yeah, hopefully, you know. More importantly, we got a big game, obviously, tonight, so we want to start the week off the right way and start tonight.
In your first game, you scored an overtime goal to win a game here in this building. Where is that on your list of thrills?
Yeah, that's a nice memory for sure. The building got pretty quiet, so that was a fun goal to score, but hopefully we can do it again tonight.
Your team had one great game, but you're still looking for more offense, aren't you?
For sure, and I think our power play's got to be a little bit better. We haven't scored enough goals on that. We're creating some chances, but we got to put the puck in the net tonight.
Thanks. Appreciate it.
Thank you.
Gus Nyquist has scored 4 goals in his first 5 games now, Shep, in back-to-back seasons.
Love to see it again, and he's right about the power play, though, Keith. Just 2 power play goals on the season. He has one of them. Nyquist might see a lot of former Minnesota Golden Gopher Tom Gilbert because he's in that second defensive pairing tonight. All right, Jimmy Howard is back from his stint on the 48-hour IR. He's taking warm-ups at the Bell Center. Up next, we discuss the impressive goaltending the Wings have received from both he and Jonas Gustafsson this season. This is Red Wings Live on Fox Sports. It is time for our Xfinity look around the league. Detroit has allowed only 7 goals in the first 5 games. That's tied with Nashville for the second fewest goals allowed per game in the NHL, right behind Minnesota. St. Louis, LA, and Chicago round out the top 5. Welcome back, Matt Shepard, Darren Elliott, Chris Osgood here with today's Miller Lite breakdown. We saw Gustafsson and how on Saturday and how brilliant he was in a shutout win over the Maple Leafs. Guys, does that make it even more impressive knowing that that was his debut this year?
I was expecting exactly what we saw, believe it or not.
A shutout like that?
I expected him to play very well because I know the work he's playing with Jim Bedard. I know how well he played the year before. And don't discount the fact that he had a good year last year, that confidence wasn't brought over through the summer into this year. He feels really good about himself. He's using his athletic ability, which he had when he first came over here from Sweden, and he's really battling through traffic. And I love how he's finding pucks in traffic and battling these scrums, and more times than not, he's coming up with the big saves.
Could you say Jimmy Howard has been equally, if not more impressive, considering he had to fight through some injuries last year?
Yeah, I think his work that he put in has been well documented this summer, and I expected him to come out and have a fine season. The good news is he's playing tonight, and I say that not because Jonas Gustafsson coming off the shutouts, because we thought he might be injured. We heard that maybe more concern than was warranted. I've loved the way he's come. He's always impressed me as a battler in the blue paint. Gustafson they look very similar at times now.
Yeah, they sure do. And the thing with Jimmy Howard is it's great to have him back after that little quick stint on the 48-hour IR. Last year he had 3 nagging injuries that really at times affected his mobility and the way he could play in net. But what I'm most impressed about him, now being a goalie in the National Hockey League is progression. He's matured. He's 30 years old now. He seems like he's taken his maturity to the next level. If you beat him one way, you're not going to beat him that way twice. He doesn't get rattled. He loves the pressure. He loves the big games. He seems to have reached that sweet spot in his career right now.
They seem to work well together, too, and that's important, don't you think?
Yeah, I do. I agree.
It's a good relationship. All right, folks, we look forward to your breakdown in between periods and, of course, on the post-game show with Mickey York as well. Stay right there, folks. Up next, the first of 4 regular season meetings between the Wings and the Canadiens. It comes your way next on Fox Sports Detroit.